Like, I don't think that's why Genghis Khan is a conqueror. He did conquer shit. You know what I mean? You didn't conquer anything. That's crazy. It's crazy to just like fucking compare yourself to Genghis Khan because you were Google searched a lot.
Loyalty from me. They only expect that of lesser men. Then there was this. Imagine having less than 10 children because you're a who doesn't have 4 wives. Genetic failures. Finally, if a girl follows me and she's hot and I see a single picture of her in a private jet, it's block. Women can't afford jets. Women are all brokies. Why are you flying around on some man's jet? You should have been a virgin when I met you. Haram. All right, Andrew Tate. Now, you're getting very near the knuckle with some of those.
Bro, if you think this piece of shit... Oh, yeah, no, I remember this. Finally ran into the bitch Mike Jackson. He quickly discovered the difference between calling people Nazis in person versus on Twitter. This race is lucky so many people were there to save his pathetic racist ass. What, because he called him a Nazi? So you attacked him? What a fucking psycho. Bro, I mean, this dude should be in prison, 100%.
Those tweets.
Am I?
You tell me.
I don't think so. I think people can understand they're semi-satirical. I think people can understand.
Do you mean them as jokes or do you mean them?
It's not that I don't mean them as jokes. I mean, they're a overall public commentary and observation. I do mean what I say. If I were to see a girl on a private plane on Instagram, for example, I would assume that a man put her on that private plane. I would not assume she bought it herself.
What if it was...
Perhaps that makes me misogynistic.
What if it was Ariana Grande or Beyonce?
Well, that's slightly different, isn't it?
Why?
The guy he's beating up is a mega racist, though, so the entire video is a clown show. What crime he committed? What do you mean? Assault, man. What the fuck? Did you just watch a dude, like, put someone in a fucking chokehold and then go, what crime was that? It's like one of the most basic ones, dude. I don't know. It's a super basic one, you know? Like, that's pretty open and shut. We're not talking about, like, jaywalking here, you know? It's just assault. I don't know if you know this, but, like, when you're a professional fighter, that doesn't allow you to just, like, assault people. As a matter of fact, it makes it harder for you to assault people, actually. You know? Like, you have less lenience on who you can and can't assault.
Why?
Because they're famous and very
They're
rich.
Women?
Yeah, of course, and they're famous and very rich. But
so
if
there are lots of women you wouldn't think that if you actually saw them on a private plane.
Well, if I saw a 19-year-old girl from Moldova where the average wage is $200 a month and she was on a private jet, I would assume that with the balance of probabilities, considering I'm an adult, it's very likely because of her beauty, a man has put her on that private plane. Yes. If that makes me misogynistic instead of just perspicacious enough to understand how the world works, so be it. I'm a realist.
Should you be such a generalist about these things?
Well, you have to be a generalist when you're looking for in the balance of probabilities and trying to find balance in the world. You have to be a generalist. In general, if I stroke a lion, it's going to bite my hand. In general, there might be a nice one, but I don't want to find out. So that's how the world works.
You've praised the Taliban in the past.
Dude, I mean, again, just baboon brain shit, dude. I swear to God. Just like comparing, like defending thinking about the world in this way is so, like, you're an animal. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it's like lizard brain. I don't know how to describe it other than you're just basically saying I'm stupid because I'm an animal and animals are supposed to be stupid. There is no room for nuance here.
Would you do so again tonight?
The world is not black and white. The world is gray. It's very difficult to sit and make black and white assumptions about anything, to sit and say that the Taliban are completely and utterly evil and we're completely and utterly good, as you just discussed with the moral high ground. I mean,
he did also come out against reading, which was pretty funny, where he was literally like, he just straight up said, reading is bad because you're cucked by another person's experiences. Like, reading and learning things other than, like, directly experiencing them is faulty. Like, he did say that. People give evidence that proves he's wrong right in his face, and he just ignores it. He's unreal. I mean, he's weaponizing being dumb. And unfortunately for everyone, there are a lot of fucking dumb people on the planet. So he can pretty much get away with it. Okay? He said reading books is for losers who are afraid to learn from life. So they try and learn from life others have lived. But you never really learn unless you lived it. You must feel it to believe it. Books are a total waste of time. Education is for cowards. Which, by the way, this is his hidden reply. I hate that, like, as long as you check a box and you say the things that, like, people will enjoy, as long as you say, like, he's so transparently a clown ass, it just makes me sad. It's the Elon Musk thing over and over again. You know what I mean? It's like, he is so obviously just a gigantic hypocrite. But it doesn't matter because, like, he could just, like, get away with all of this shit because his fans are just as stupid as he is, if not dumber than he is. I don't know. It hurts my soul to see people dick ride to this degree because, you know, they just find him to be on their team. They're like, oh, he's on my team. I didn't write that trash. Some loser was trying to profit off my name. Is that why you think the earth is flat? By the way, there's nothing alpha about trafficking humans. What kind of coward pretends to be a top chief but can't even do his own sex work, has to steal from women like a craven beta? Like this, okay, I know I jokingly retweeted this and said this is actually his only good take or whatever, but like, and I know it's like half of a joke, right? This is like half joking, but it's wild that I don't know how to describe it. It's like, this is fundamentally against being a human being. The reason why humans, okay, are different than every other fucking animal, because I am a speciesist, is because of this, what he is describing, okay? We have the unique ability to compound on top of previously learned information. Like, that's why writing and reading, okay, was basically the turning point of history. Like, storytelling as a means of like offering people lessons, and then being able to like put that down in writing and reach it to a broader audience time and time again has like put humanity where it currently is, okay? It is literally why everything exists in the way that you know and understand and appreciate and enjoy. Now, of course, I know he's joking. What fucking kills me is that, like, there are people who don't think he's joking, and there are people who agree with him. Like, he is that, his fan base is that stupid. Also, it's all half jokes, just like the Genghis Khan tweet. You know what I mean? It's always like a half joke. It's a half truth.
Believe that the Taliban bring law and order. It may not be the law and order we like, but it's a form of law and order, and humans usually gravitate
What about
towards...
their treatment of women? I mean, only tonight they have banned any women from going to university.
Fantastic. Let's get the feminists to go and teach them a lesson. The feminists are so tough, and they stand up and say they can do anything a man can do. Let's arm them up and send them to Afghanistan. I'm sure they'll fix it.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a serious matter, isn't it? That women don't get the education they deserve.
And that's a very serious answer. If women are just as capable as men in terms of combat, like feminists pretend they are, they can go over there and they can deal with the Taliban.
A lot of women do go to combat.
Exactly. So they can go deal with the Taliban. It's nothing to do with me. They can stand up and fight for their own rights.
Surely you wouldn't defend the Taliban banning women from university.
It's saying it's nothing to do with me, Pierce. It's absolutely nothing to do with me.
What about the Afghan women?
It's nothing to do with me on any level.
You don't have a view?
I have a view. My view is that people naturally gravitate towards law and order, and if you didn't have the Taliban, you'd have different warlords operating in lawlessness, and there would be no way to prevent your store or your...
I do hate that, like, in all of the takes that he has, like, he's not wrong. He literally is not wrong about this. I hate that, like, there is, like, a grain of truth in everything that he fucking says. That's what makes it so fucking annoying to deal with. Okay? But, like, if you let it hang like that, then that's the issue. It's like, yeah, everybody knows that Taliban is doing the law and order in Afghanistan right now. That's the fucking problem, stupid. That's what people are criticizing. Okay? Like, we know you're not addressing something new. It's like when people say, well, Elon Musk bought the platform. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Okay? Like, yeah, I know that. That's why I'm criticizing what he's doing. Okay? I'm not criticizing whether or not he is able to do the things that he's doing. I know that already. Okay? We know that that's what's happening. Jesus fucking Christ.
market stall getting completely robbed by someone with an AK-47, and people are going to gravitate towards a form of law and order. America left. They left a power vacuum, and the power vacuum is now full.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
Okay. Well,
but I do think the banning of women from university in Afghanistan is utterly horrific.
And I think the feminists are going to arm themselves. They're going to show us that they can do anything a man can do. They're going to go over there to combat, and they're going to teach Taliban a lesson.
Why can't you just say on that, you know what, it's completely wrong?
Because it's not my point. I don't understand.
But it makes me think. It'll make your critics think that you don't think it's wrong.
They could ban all men. They could ban all short people.
But they're not. They're only banning women.
Correct. They could ban all short people. They could ban all people with long hair. And none of it's anything to do with me. So they can do whatever they want. I'm not going to go to war with the Taliban.
But you've just literally...
I mean, that's like real pussy shit, too, to just like not fucking openly state what your perspective is on the matter after you already have openly stated it, and then saying, well, I'm just joking, actually. And then when faced with the question, like, well, what's your take on it? Just being like, well, it's nothing to do with me. It's like, well, okay, but you had a take on it. Why are you so cowardly that you can't just like repeat the take that you had on it? Do you think it's okay for women to go to school or not? Just like reverting back to the way things are over and over again is just a way to shelter yourself from additional scrutiny. You just don't want to have that conversation. You just keep saying, well, it's just the way things are. Like, we know how things are, bitch. We know that. We know.
He spent an impassioned first segment comparing the way, for example, Dubai handles law and order.
Correct.
To this country.
Correct.
So you do express views about different laws.
Absolutely. Both places.
So when I put to you a law that basically bans women from being educated, it's not. Why is it a problem for you to say, you know what, it's wrong?
They're both places I've resided in, Dubai and London, so I have personal experience. I can give my personal opinion, but like I said, it has absolutely nothing to do with me with what the Taliban decide to do.
Well, just didn't do it, motherfucker. Come on, let's hear it. I want to hear it. I'm sure people just want to hear what your take is.
Afghanistan, and if they decide that's the most prudent way to run their society.
Because he's in no state to criticize them. I mean, he's not criticizing them. He's defending them. That's why. Also, like, ultimately, it doesn't matter if he's, like, pro-Taliban or anti-Taliban, right? Like, it just doesn't matter. His perspective is completely irrelevant in this matter. But they are having two people that are completely removed from any kind of, like, having any kind of, like, serious geopolitical takes or geopolitical power are just having a simple conversation, okay? It's just, it's weird and cowardly for him to basically deflect away.
Society, then we have two choices. We can either go over there and start another war that we shouldn't be involved in and waste a bunch of life, or we can sit and say it's up to them. They should govern themselves. They're people. We're no better than them, and they've decided to live their lives a particular way, and that's how they're going to live it. Like I said, if feminists are very upset and they're very disgusted by the fact that in Afghanistan women cannot go to school, I've been told repeatedly by feminists that they're just as capable as men in all realms, and I expect them to arm themselves and fly over to Afghanistan and fix it.
Like a lot of women have done in combat.
Good. Congratulations. Go fight. Well, this is the thing that's very interesting, because when you talk about ideas, it's not even just about Afghanistan and feminism. When you talk about ideas, they must all be defended at some point. There has to come down to violence. The world is back.
It's wild. He's like, ideas have to be defended at some point with violence. It's like, bro, but you can't even defend your ideas. What the fuck? Like, if you can't defend your ideas to Piers motherfucking Morgan, who the fuck can you defend it to? Like, come on, brother. You can't be calling, like, you can't be, like, such a fucking coward in not defending your positions on the Piers Morgan show while you are simultaneously fucking criticizing the women in, again, the most cowardly way possible by saying, like, oh, well, they're unable to defend their ideas. Just so fucking stupid.
By violence. Nobody wants to talk about this. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have a disagreement between two parties, eventually, if the disagreement continues, it ends up in violence. Feminism is defended by men. Men stand up and defend feminism, not feminists themselves, because they're incapable of violence. And we're in a situation now where you're saying that we should send men to go and fight for feminism. Why? It's not a man's problem.
No, I think I'm saying
feminists believe.
Dude, this boundary is insane. Like, everyone's a human. There is no war between men and women. Holy fuck, dude. This is like the final boss of misogyny, okay? When you see the world, people have seen the world through different designations, right? People look at it on national borders. People sometimes fight people fight on behalf of ideological borders. I've never seen someone this open about setting a line between men and women this way. Like it's just, you can't actually do anything humanitarian if it pertains to, like, women's rights. You're just cucked to feminism. You know what I mean? That's incredible. Like, the hatred is incredible. It's like his brain is perma-stuck in, like, 8th grade where he thinks women have fucking cooties. You know? And they are, like, they have wronged him personally. And therefore, he will never defend them. It's like, you know, men are from, what is it? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus or whatever. Women are from Venus and men are from Mars, and they have fucking cooties, and, you know, they're our enemy. They're our enemy. Meanwhile, the real enemy is the top of the hour ad break. And also all the fucking annoying shitters in the chat that literally start saying Puggo tomato time before I even serve the ad break. Okay? And together, united, you can fight against the top of the hour ad break and not the streamer himself, even though the streamer is serving you the top of the hour ad break, a contractual obligation. A 3-minute ad break at the top of the fucking hour. Okay? Rice Spicy, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. You too can avoid the top of the hour ad break by subscribing for $5 or for free. It's really fucking annoying when chat is not letting any segues happen. The one thing you can do to make this ad break transition more seamless, if you want to fucking get me with a segue, do the smart thing. Come up with a clever debate. Don't just fucking routinely spam Pog tomato time, because that is uninteresting, okay? Don't get so excited at the prospect of, like, catching the streamer, because you're ruining the content that way. Give me a good debate. Straight up. And if you want to defend yourself from the top of the hour ad break, subscribe for $5 or for free. Snoo! Thank you for the 10 gifted subs, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads. There's a 3-minute ad break now.
I think men can be feminists too, because if feminism believes in equality for women, I'll sign up to it. I don't agree with radical feminists who hate men. Right? To me, the radical anything to me is a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think most feminism in the West currently is radical.
Well, some of it is, no question.
Absolutely, but this is my point. My point is that the Taliban are going to do whatever the Taliban decide to do. If I'm going to fly over to another country, I will respect their laws and customs. It's not my job to come along and tell other people how to live. I don't believe I have a moral high ground in that degree. And if people are genuinely upset and disgusted by it, the bottom line in most disagreements on the earth is violence. People who feel like they should go and fix it, then fix it with violence, then it can be the feminists who feel so outraged by it. But it's funny, they don't comment on these subjects, feminists. They seem to instead attack the Western male for some reason.
You deleted a video in which you praised ISIS. Why?
I don't know which video you're talking about in particular. It might have been a video from a long time ago. But in general, I understand that, like I said, the world is not black and white. The world is gray areas. And Western imperialism as a whole has been causing more problems than it's ever fixed. And it's disgusting. And I don't know the exact video you're referencing, but sometimes when an underdog destroys a Western imperialist, I have a degree of I wouldn't say satisfaction, but
Satisfaction?
No, but there's certainly a degree of
the way ISIS
I don't know the particular.
themselves.
I don't know about the particular video we're talking about.
ISIS were one of the most deadly terror groups in the world.
Absolutely.
They committed a series of appalling atrocities.
Sure.
Killing innocent people left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
How could you possibly have satisfaction?
Well, if it's the video I'm recollecting, if it's the video we're talking about, it's about the fact that I believe ISIS was funded by the West and created by the West in the first place. And it wasn't a degree of satisfaction like I'm happy ISIS exists. It was a commentary on the world.
Well, here's what you said. ISIS are the real Muslim.
Yeah, foreign policy, Andrew Tate can be a little tricky to cover as well because, like, again, grain of truth and then peppered in, he peppers in a grain of truth in every single thing that he fucking says. And then he just surrounds it with, like, a mountainous pile of garbage shit, okay? Every single fucking time. It is so annoying to deal with.
It's because ISIS,
like, yes, ISIS is a Western invention. That is true. Okay? Every good con man does this. Okay? Every single good con man does this.
ISIS do exactly what the book says. Kill everyone who's not a Muslim and chop people's heads off and set them on fire and be raging lunatics. But all the other Muslims go, they're not real Muslims because I read the book, and ignore those parts. Well, then you're not an effing Muslim.
The idea that, like, ISIS are the real Muslims is psychotic, by the way. Like, completely fucking psychotic. It's bullshit. It is such an Orientalist, annoying fucking Western perspective that is incredibly far removed from the reality. If you grew up in the Western world, would you ever have an idiotic take such as this one? Oh, those are the real Muslims. No, those are the Muslim stereotype that you have been conditioned into fucking believing, dumbass. And that's why you think those are the real Muslims and not the billions of fucking practicing Muslims who don't, destroy entire villages full of people.
Because you're ignoring the effing book.
That's an interesting point you've just raised, because I am now Islamic. And it's funny because I used to be an atheist, and when you're an atheist, you believe that religion causes more problems than it fixes, and then you come to a realization and you start to learn the truth of yourself and the truth of God, and you realize that religion is actually the cure for most of the problems in the world, and godlessness is the problem in the world. So that is something I will apologize for and admit I was wrong about, because I was atheistic, and now as a Muslim I understand that's absolutely not the case. If that's the particular video you're talking about, then there's...
Well, that's really interesting. So you regret saying that?
Yeah, because you learn and you grow and you evolve, as I said. At the time I believed it, because I didn't believe in God at the time. It was a very long time ago. It's actually kind of a testament to you, Piers. You managed to find the oldest possible videos of me that have ever existed. But at the time, I was atheistic.
Well, no, I was curious because you have recently converted to Islam.
Correct.
So these questions, I think, are pertinent to your conversion.
Absolutely.
As to what you actually believe as a practicing Muslim now.
Yeah, I believe that Islam is beautiful. I believe it's the last true religion on earth. It's certainly the last respected religion on earth. And I felt differently inside since I've converted. And I think
the reason for converting to Islam, for the record, as a grifter like Andrew Tate, is because of his understanding, his false understanding of what Islam is. He's like, yeah, because Islam doesn't take no shit. Because he does think Islam is ISIS, okay? That's what it is. His, like, false understanding of what Islam is the reason why he's converting, right? Fucking bullshit, by the way.
I think it has the solutions to a lot of the problems we're facing in the world today. That particular video was once again satirical. A lot of people watching this would not have seen it. They would not have seen the joke element of it. It's fine. But
it's not funny, though, is it?
Well, it's like most of the time, as we discussed in our first interview with me. Things are taken out of context, short form, et cetera, et cetera. But all in all, you could say the same things about Christians. If you were to read the Old Testament and say, stick to the Old Testament, you'd kill anyone who works on a Sunday. So it's not applicable to
You wouldn't countenance violence.
Say again?
You don't countenance violence.
I absolutely do not countenance violence. When I was talking about violence being the bottom line decider between disagreeing points of view, it's not I'm calling.
What is real Islam then? Okay. All religion, and Islam is also not different than any other religion, okay, is a matter of personal interpretation. This notion that, like, Islam is, at its heart, fundamentalist is fucking idiotic. You, living in the West, have this understanding baked into your very existence when you talk about Christianity, okay? Every single person understands that not every Christian is the Westboro Baptist Church. No one would point to the Westboro Baptist Church and go, that's real Christianity. That's not real Christianity. It's fundamentalism, okay? The irony, of course, is that Andrew Tate is looking at the most fundamentalist aspects of what he believes is like historical Islam, what he believes is like real Islam, and claiming that that is the reason why he wants to join it, which I don't even believe he actually is. Now, a lot of Reddit atheists will jump to that and go, no, actually, fundamentalists are the ones who are holding the truth about religion. No, that's not the case, okay? Interpretation is at the heart of every fucking religion. Shut the fuck up.
For violence.
He's just doing it because it's the same as Jordan Peterson, okay? Unfortunately, due to imperialism, colonialism, and lack of adequate material conditions for many in the Muslim world, there is plenty of conservative takes in the Muslim world, and they eat this shit up. And he recognizes that. He wants to fucking tap into that market, and that's it. It's an easy-ass way to just fucking get a lot of like the Dubai oil lords on his side, right? And make money that way. But it's also just to gain prominence. He's just serving a different market now. Meanwhile, the only thing he should be serving is Allah, right? Islam is supposed to be about submitting yourself. It's supposed to be about jihad, your own personal internal struggle. Meanwhile, this man's jihad is not being able to get pussy and then fucking despising all women for it. Holy shit, dude.
Just making a commentary on how the world genuinely functions.
But when you use a word like satisfaction, you understand that people will watch that and think, how can you possibly find any form of terrorism satisfying?
I don't find any form of terrorism satisfying. I don't find Western terrorism satisfying either. I don't think it's satisfying that we managed to find $500,000 per bomb to drop on some farmer who makes $4 a day under the name of freedom. And we can't seem to pay our nurses enough to do their jobs. I don't find any kind of terrorism. And it's actually very interesting you talk about the word terrorism. Terrorist and freedom fighter, good guy and bad guy, all of this is subjective. There are people who believe that the West are the biggest terrorists on the earth. There are people who believe that America causes more wars than anyone else, and they've killed more people than anyone else. And there's people who believe the absolute opposite. So once again, it depends who you're talking to. It's a subjective conversation. There's no black and white in the world. There's areas of gray, and that's how it is. So I thought you were talking about another video where I was saying that ISIS are standing up and fighting for what they believe in. I'm not saying what they believe in is right, but that's what they were fighting for at the time. And it was a completely different video than the one you were actually referencing.
But you would condemn them now?
I don't condemn anybody doing anything bad to anybody. I'm not a person out here with a criminal record. I don't hurt anyone. I just spent my first segment on this show talking about how I believe in law and order.
Dude, I hate his good takes are the ones who hurt the most, I think. His good takes are the ones who hurt the most. Not his like lack of criminal record or whatever. I'm talking about when he's like talking about how like America is the terrorist, or the concept of terrorism being like a completely arbitrary designation, oftentimes weaponized against nation states or people who are simply looking for emancipation. I hate that. It's just like, that's the worst part. He's manipulating. That's his tact, is take the criticisms lauded at him and twist them into something else. Yeah. The Kanye I love everyone vibes. No, this is significantly better than that. As a form of propaganda, Kanye West already had that audience because of his... Kanye West already had that audience because of his music, okay? He was a great producer, very famous, so he didn't have to like work to earn that audience. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has nothing, so he has to earn that audience. So in order to do so, he has to be charismatic, he has to be cunning, and as stupid as he is in many instances, I think that stupidity is actually a tactical stupidity, because he knows who he's trying to channel. He knows who he's trying to serve. He knows that his audience that he wants to garner attention from is a bunch of fucking baboons, okay? Which is precisely why he has to be way smarter than Kanye West in that regard. Kanye West is just like so fucking narcissistic and up his own ass that he doesn't realize that He can't get away with just saying like I love Hitler and then follow that up by well, but it's because I love everyone. You know what I mean?
And how important that is. I think people can operate inside of their lives safely and walk around, man, woman, child, can walk around in safety in any city they live in. How that law and order is constructed is not my jurisdiction. I'm not in charge of the law and order of Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, any of them. It's nothing to do with me.
Sus that Piers Morgan is only reporting his good takes and not pushing back on the bad ones or whatever. Well, you know, Piers Morgan is doing what Piers Morgan does.